Yo, what's up, boys? It's Betta here with what I think is the best and fastest way you can level up a witch for either a Infernalist based build or even Blood Mage based. Do be warned, this is not for a first character, as you will need to respec your tree once you hit end game if you don't stick with minions and choose to go with the Blood Mage. For getting through the campaign, we require some early uniques, which gives us massive power creep from the extra spirit they give, enabling us to have even more minions. And you will also need to have at least 4 lesser jeweler orbs, along with some level 2 and 3 supports. With this out of the way, until around about level 12, when we get our first spirit gem, you will be using Spark and Flame Wall alongside the Skeletal Warriors, giving good clear and a decent amount of damage. Once you have acquired your first spirit gem, as I did mention, at around about level 12 or so, you must get the Raging Spirits skill, which are summoned with Flame Wall, and then from there on we will be blowing them up via Infernal Legion and minion instability paired with the Skeletal Arsonists that will be shotgunning enemies from the 3 projectile scattershot support. With this simple setup, we are able to clear through areas and mount bosses to finish the campaign quickly and efficiently. To further boost our damage, Pain Offering and Flammability are used when we encounter rares, but mostly on bosses with shield charge to get around much more speedy. Before I continue, drop a like, subscribe, share, and maybe pop into my live streams over on Twitch. It really does help me out. And I also have the entire character setup on Maxroll, which you can find down below in the description. In terms of gameplay and the playstyle of how you get around to playing the build and basically what you're going to be doing in order to progress in that, it is super simple. All that you're going to be doing is just casting your Flame Wall, which will summon your Raging Spirits until they end up exploding. And Flame Wall also allows for your Arsonists projectiles to gain additional fire damage, which is awesome. Just do note that you should only be summoning your Flame Wall every single about 3 seconds in that, just so your Raging Spirits do actually get a chance to blow up and deal the full amount of damage. So try not to spam it too often. And then other than that, all that you'll be wanting to do is just cast Pain Offering now and then, especially when you're encountering rares, and maybe Flammability too. And then in terms of like getting around much quicker and that, using Shield Charge with the Second Wind allows you to just Shield Charge around. That way you can just cover areas where there aren't enemies and that much quicker, so you can get through the campaign a lot faster. And that way you have got less downtime by running up and down the entire time, and then you can just spam your Shield Charge. For bossing, what you want to make sure that you always have up is your Pain Offering and your Flammability. And then obviously, as I did mention, you need to ensure that you aren't spamming your Flame Wall all that much. And one last thing is to make sure that your Arsonist's projectiles are actually going through the Flame Wall to gain that additional damage from it. For your skill gems, the very first skill gem that you are able to pick up in that, I recommend that you should grab Spark, and then alongside Spark to use Pierce. That way the projectiles can pierce all enemies, and then Arcane Tempo, so you're able to cast it much quicker. And then from your Scepter, you will have the Skeletal Warrior minions, and then I recommend just socketing in Brutality and Heavy Swing for the more damage that it provides you with. And then to just grab Flame Wall for the very next skill gem that you end up dropping in terms of the uncut gems. For the third uncut skill gem that you do drop, I recommend grabbing the Skeletal Arsonists. And then linked to this, you're going to put in Scattershot for the additional projectiles, Martial Tempo for the more attack speed, and Immolate for the additional 30% damage that it provides them with. One thing to note is that Immolate will always be up and running, as your Raging Spirits will always be burning enemies. That way they are always ignited. Once you hit level 12 and you have got your very first spirit gem to have dropped, then you need to grab Raging Spirits, and linked to your Raging Spirits is Infernal Legion, Feeding Frenzy, and the minion instability. The reason why you want to use these three is because Infernal Legion makes it so that they are burning for 20% of their max life, and because Feeding Frenzy naturally makes them take more damage. This enables us to blow them up via the minion instability, whereby they are dealing 15% of their maximum life within an area to the surrounding enemies. Once you have got your Raging Spirits on that, then for your Flame Wall, you need to use Fortress, so it creates a circle instead. And this way, it's just providing more coverage. And then Inspiration for the less mana cost, as you will be using it pretty often. That way, it's more mana savvy. And then Mobility gives 30% less movement speed penalty. This way, you are much more agile while using the skill. By the end of Act 1, I recommend that you grab Pain Offering as soon as you can via a uncut skill gem, and then in this you want to socket in Expanse for the more area of effect. That way, should your minions just be a little bit to the side and away from it, they are still receiving the massive 30% increased attack speed and the more damage as well. And then along with this, you want to use Persistence for the more skill effect duration. That way it's lasting a lot longer and you don't have to spam Pain Offering as often. And then of course, Meat Shield, just so it's got some extra life and some extra survivability, once again, so that you don't have to end up spamming the skill. When you get into Act 2 and you are level 24, then you can pick up Flammability. For the cursed enemies have negative 33 fire resistance, and then you want to put in Focused Curse. That way you are able to curse the enemies much quicker. As you can see, it costs almost instantly, so it's a lot quicker to get the curse on enemies, especially if they are moving around and boss fights as well. And then along with that, you want to use Heartened Curse for the increased effect of the curse. And lastly, Shield Charge. You should probably socket this in as soon as you can in early Act 1 and that, but it's not really that necessary. I would recommend using Second Wind with it. That way you are able to Shield Charge twice and not just once. So you are able to get around a lot quicker. It makes your mobility much better, and it does make things a lot smoother for you as well. Alright, and that is it for the skill gems and support gems. This exact setup over here, basically from Act 2, will take you all the way up until the end of Act 3 Cruel. You won't have to worry about changing any of the gems in that. One thing I do just want to note is that you should be leveling up your gems as much as you can, whenever you can. With Skeletal Arsonists taking priority, and then obviously for the uncut spirits should be Raging Spirits. And after your Arsonists, I would recommend prioritizing Flame Wall, then your Pain Offering and Flammability. But you don't actually have to level up Flammability because it's just going to increase the mana cost without actually increasing the negative effects. In terms of gearing, as soon as you can, you need to equip 2 Black Hearts for the life regeneration and the Intimidate on hit. And then for your chest, you need the Enfolding Dawn. This gives a large amount of extra spirit and some additional elemental resistances as well. And then for your helmet, I would recommend using Arian's Cobble. This gives some extra stat requirements, a little bit of resistance, some life, and a little bit of rarity in that as well. This is just a little bit of a quality of life early on. And then for your shield, once you are level 7, you need to equip a Oak Sworn. This gives extra block chance for survivability, along with a little bit of chaos resistance, and most importantly, the plus 50 to spirit, which is really powerful in helping us achieve even more Arsonists. And then for your boots, you just want some Wanderlust for the additional movement speed, a little bit of dexterity, as we will be needing dexterity, and the your speed is unaffected by slows is pretty decent as well. For your amulet, you need to get a Jade amulet once again for dexterity requirements, or you can even get one for strength as well. I believe that you will be needing at least 15 strength too. You can get these additional stats on like gloves or belt or even your rings should you choose to do so. And then for your weapon, I would recommend trying to get a Rattling Scepter with the Skeletal Warriors and +1 to level of all minion skill gems. From Act 2 until endgame, I would recommend grabbing a Rattling Scepter for the Skeletal Warriors, which has got % increased spirit and at least +2 to level of all minion skills. And then along with that, minions also have increased maximum life. That way your Raging Spirits are able to blow up for even more damage. And then for the gloves, just a bit of life and some resistance will be pretty beneficial. The same thing goes for the belt as well, and the boots too. However, on the boots, you should try and get some movement speed. That way you can just move around much quicker. And then in terms of the rings, all you need is maybe some stats on them, either being dexterity or even strength. And then, of course, some resistances and life. And then for your amulets, you can pretty much have anything with stats, life, even resistance. It really doesn't matter. Just do try and make sure that you are above 60% or resistance in that, because if you do fall lower than that, then it does tend to become a little bit dodgy. And then for your charm, I recommend using a thawing charm. That way you're immune to freeze, so you can just be much quicker going through the campaign. Moving on to the passive tree, one thing I do just want to note is that you need to make sure that you are doing the 2 side quests in each act, which give 2 additional skill points, totaling 4 skill points for each act. Right. So in Act 1, you are going to start off by grabbing all of the additional minion damage nodes over here, pathing your way up, grabbing some extra dexterity for the dexterity requirements. Thereafter, you're going to grab Gravedigger so your minions can revive faster, and then Necrotized Flesh for the additional minion life. Then once heading on into Act 2, which will be about 38 points, we are going to be grabbing Living Death, so minions revive faster, and minions have additional life once again. Then head on over to Restless Dead, once again, so minions can revive much faster, and Growing Swarm for increased area of effect for our Arsonists, and the increased cooldown recovery rate that our minions do gain. For Act 3, which will be around about 52 points in total, you are going to path all the way up in the tree to grab Lord of Horrors. This way, your minions have got reduced reservation. This allows you to summon an additional Arsonist. And then from there on, just grab a little bit of additional minion life. Going into Act 1 Cruel, you will be grabbing Left Hand of Darkness, so your minions have additional physical damage reduction and some additional chaos resistance, just to help them be a little bit extra tanky. And then thereafter, you're going to path all the way to the left-hand side of the tree over here, picking up Holy Protector, once again for additional minion life, and the Bringer of Order for the additional minion damage. For Act 2 Cruel, what you need to prioritize getting is Taut Flesh and Loose Flesh. This way, physical damage taken and elemental damage taken is recouped as life, alongside with just baseline damage recouped as life. This is just for some sustainability and a little bit extra survivability. And then after that, you want to go ahead and grab Right Hand of Darkness for the increased area of effect from all of these additional nodes. This makes it so that you are able to clear much quicker with your Arsonists, and the shotgun effect is way more effective on their projectiles. For Act 3 Cruel, you will be picking up Glazed Flesh, just for the additional damage taken recouped as life, mana, and energy shield. Once again, just for a little bit of sustain. And then you're going to be filling in the additional minion life over here and over here at the beginning for our SRS to deal even more damage. And then this one here as well you can do, but I prefer to go for the additional minion damage nodes over here. Alright, and that is it for this leveling guide. I hope you enjoyed the video. Should you have, please do drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and head on over to my Twitch. I'm live pretty much every single day for at least 12 hours. And if you do need any help with leveling or have any questions, please do pop into my community Discord or even my live streams. I'm always willing to help. Other than that, thanks for watching, Exiles, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.